Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it looks like it just got worse for all those people who booked cruises through Jetline. I'll talk a little bit about that. Is Baltimore losing Royal Caribbean that's been there for quite a while now? We also have a cruise port in the Caribbean that just had its warning level. That's right, its travel warning level has been raised. And yep, there's a lot of canceled cruises now because of the cyclone in Australia. One thing out there that always used to annoy me, and probably annoys you as well, is when you open up your email and 90% of the emails are spam. People trying to sell you stuff, people trying to, take your money from something, and it's not anything you want to do. Well, there's a hazard in there as well, because some of those messages in there are from hackers and scammers, and they're trying to get you to click that link to steal your information. They're trying to rob you of anything you have, get into your bank accounts, find out your mailing address, etc. Not only that, all that data, every time you're on the internet, it's being collected by data brokers. And data brokers are the ones that are selling this stuff to other people, including people who are looking to steal your information, possibly steal your money as well from your accounts. And this is why you want to get off of all of those mailing lists that you're attached to. Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know who to call, but you know who does? Incogni. Incogni will do that work for you. When I signed up for Incogni, basically they take my information, they look after my email, and they start sending out messages to all of these companies that collect this data, the data brokers, and they say, take us off those lists. And when you're requested to be taken off the list, they have to do it by law. And if they don't, Incogni continues the fight for you. I've had over 100 data brokers taken me off their web since I started Incogni. So I'm very glad I did. Besides that, it also cuts down on my spam email tremendously, and I feel a lot safer because you know what? The dark web can be a bad place. Just recently we had over 3 billion people had all their information stolen from a data broker on the dark web, and I'm glad I have Incogni looking after me and getting me off those lists. So if you'd like to try Incogni, why not follow my link down below? Maybe hit the QR code right here, and you can get up to 60% off by using my code FAMILY. I'm glad I did, and I'm sure you will too. So things might have just got worse for everybody who booked cruises through Jetline, as the company has now ceased trading on the open market, which leads to a lot of speculation that the company is going to declare bankruptcy or receivership or consumer protection. And that will just make things really a lot harder for people who had booked these cruises to get their money back, because it goes in order of government, companies, people. But the only saving grace could be that some of the cruises still might be considered under that insurance protection that they have in the UK. It's a mess right now, but we'll hope for the best for all those passengers who woke up yesterday morning to find out all their cruises were basically gone. Next, our friend Matt Hochberg over there at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, he was searching out Baltimore cruises and noticed that the Vision of the Seas is moving to Florida at the end of 2026 and 2027. So that leaves a big blank of no cruise ships now sailing out of Baltimore. Now, that can change. They could reassign, but they said so far pretty much every ship that can fit in Baltimore, they have a big bridge that they have to go under. They can't put an Oasis class or a Quantum class there, but all the other ships that could fit are already deployed. Now that doesn't mean they won't cancel them and move them to Baltimore, and even Royal Caribbean has come out and said that they've enjoyed a partnership with Baltimore and they are considering their options but cannot talk about future deployment. Could be some bad news for Baltimore, but at least they're getting Norwegian moved in there now, so maybe one offsets the other a little bit. Well, another Caribbean port by the American government is giving out a travel warning. It's now gone from a level 1 advisory to a level 2 advisory, meaning exercise increased caution when traveling to this area, mostly because of crime that has happened in the recent months leading up to this. And one of the reasons that they're actually quoting a level 2 is not so much the crime, but for committing a crime. And let me explain. They have strict gun laws, and so much so that even if you're caught with a bullet, just a single bullet round in your luggage, you can face up to 9 years in jail, not to mention the fines, etc. and etc. Recently, a 31-year-old passenger from Royal Caribbean was arrested because he had mistakenly forgotten 2 9mm ammunition rounds in his bag while visiting the island. Well, he was found guilty. He was sentenced to 3 weeks in jail, along with a $9,000 fine. Now, that got off lucky, believe it or not, because there is a mandatory 9-year sentence, but because the United States government envoys intervened, they settled on this. Now, don't expect that to happen every time in the future. So if you're a gun owner, even like a marksman, a hunter, whatever, make sure you don't mistakenly have anything in your luggage when you're visiting Grand, Turks and Caicos, because it can end really horribly for you. Next, we finally have the story going on right now as Brisbane is being hit by the typhoon. At first, it seemed like only there was Royal Caribbean and Carnival ships that were really affected, but it also affected Celebrity Cruise Lines, Cunard Cruise Lines, Oceania, Seabourn, and Disney, all facing troubles trying to get into that area because of the storm. Many cruises now have been canceled for future sailings on it, and a lot of people are really kind of disappointed, but safety first, right? Safety first. And a lot of these cruises are all 3- and 4-day cruises, which really affects people. Luckily, that usually means you're a local and you're not traveling across the world for a 3- or 4-day cruise, so it makes it a little less stressful. But imagine if you had just traveled the United States, you were planning on doing like 4 or 5 back-to-back cruises on these ships, and they're stuck at sea. Many of the people out there were wondering if they're going to run out of supplies or food, etc. Cruise ships always stock enough for extra days. Now, you're not maybe going to get something like a banana that will rot faster than other items, but your main foods, your frozen foods, your steaks, your seafood, etc., chickens, your main food items, pasta, will all be available until the cruise port reopens and they can restock. But yeah, all the best wishes for everybody in Brisbane. Flooding so far has been to a minimal, but it's just been hitting recently, so the reports are very slow coming out, and the port has not reopened yet as of today, but it could reopen later on this afternoon. Fingers crossed if the storm will pick up speed, but it seemed to have slowed down right before it hit Brisbane, which is always the case, right? When a storm slows down, it just sits over top of you and it just pounds you for days and days and days. And that's when the flooding hurts. That's when everything is in complete chaos. Electricity goes out, etc. So all the best to everybody out there, and I hope it doesn't last too much longer. Well, let me know in the comments down below. Will you miss having Royal Caribbean sailing out of Baltimore? Have you sailed out of Baltimore? I haven't. I will be next year, but I haven't sailed yet. So that'll be another new port for me to visit in the future. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.